In this video, you can get acquainted with the contents of Malabar HUD in practice. This is the screenshot from HUD editor. After downloading the HUD, you can open a HUD editor in Hand to Note in top right corner and check which numbers represent which stats. This little matrix in the bottom of the screen is invisible during the game. So you can only see it here and you can use it as a tip to know which is which. And I also want to point out that this is not some sort of a color mishmash. In terms of coloring system, everything works perfectly during the game. Here we only use these colors so that it would be easier for you to see again which is which. And now let me show you this hat in practice. We're gonna open Hand Replayer. We're gonna go over each stat, and I used the coloring system according to the range research. I used a database for hands from NL50 to NL200. Assign different colors, red, white or green, and in a minute I will explain the meaning of this all. Let's get to the replayer. Okay, let's check out the ergonomics of the HUD together with the pop-ups, and I've chosen a hand against a recreational player. As we can see, his VPIP is 60, his PFR is 5, and the other guy is a regular, an aggressive one, 33-25. But let's start with the regular. We have 4 tabs here. The first one is the main one. And let's go over each stat from left to right, from top to bottom. What are the stats, what do we need them for, and so on. First line, we have number of hands and win rate. And the following 2 numbers activate pop-up windows. First one is fold to steal. The number itself represents folds to steal on the big blind against a raise from the small blind. And in the pop-up windows, we can see folds against other positions. And also 3-bet in those positions and fold against 4-bet. And as we can see, this guy is really aggressive. He 3-bets a lot against steals. Button versus small blind 25%, a lot higher than average for the field. And small blind versus button 22%, which is also like a ridiculous amount. You rarely face as aggressive guys as this one. As you can see, we have 2 numbers in one block. By the way, you can ask why do we have different colors like white or red or green. Well, if you open a HUD editor once again and click on a certain stat, you can see the range of this stat for different colors. And as I said before, I've conducted a range research, and this is where those numbers come from. For example, average fold percentage big blind versus a small blind is 50% according to a range research. So if the number is below 50, it means danger. The guy doesn't really like to fold, he's kinda stationing. And if it's above 50, then we face a more needy guy. He folds more than average for the field, and we can steal more. The second one here is check raise, the same principle here, below average, above average. And pretty much the same thing goes for all the stats here. You can always open a HUD editor. In Hand to Note, you can either click F5 or right here, and then you can see the frequency ranges for different colors. But let's get back to the replayer. The last stat in the first line is your average check raise on the flop. And then we can note different behavioral patterns in the pop-up window. For example, the aggressor, he is in the big blind, and we can see how often he bets twice after the check raise on the flop. Or how often does he check fold after he check raises on the flop and misses a c-bet on the turn. Also, we can see how he reacts to our potential check raises in this same pop-up. So when he is in position, we can see how he defends against a check raise. And this guy is quite stationary, I can say. His c-bet fold is 39, which is quite low, and his folds against the follow-up bets are also low. He also likes betting against missed c-bets on the turn and on the river, but the sample size is quite low. You can see the small numbers in parentheses. Okay, next line, VPIP, PFR, and 3-bet. 3-bet number is blue. I use blue for the cases when a player 3-bets above average. Why do I do that? The thing is that when I consider opening, whether I want to open wider or tighter, I want to know how often people sitting behind me 3-bet. So if the guy is 3-betting above average, I want to see it right away. So this is why I use the bright color. I want this number to jump right at me. Next we have fold to 3-bet, 43% is quite low. Then 4-bet, 5.7%, really high. By the way, if we click on the 3-bet number, the pop-up appears where we can see 3-bet percentage from certain positions against certain positions. So we see the frequencies here and also the sample size in parentheses again. So what we can see, he 3-bets a lot from big blind and small blind, and from other positions he is actually quite tight. So we can expect stronger ranges. If we click on his 4-bet number, we can see his open raising frequencies in different positions. His fold against the 3-bet in different positions as well. 4-bet range in different positions. ISO raises and fold against squeeze. And the final number in this line is a fold against a 4-bet. 54 is close to average. Third line, we have two blocks. In the first block, we have when to showdown, won when soft flop, and won money at showdown. And in the second one, we have aggression frequencies by street. So from his when to showdown, we can see that he is quite stationary. From his won when soft flop, we can tell that he really likes to fight for pots, and his red line corresponds that. And he's actually quite successful at showdowns. He wins 52% of the time, which is really good combined with the first two numbers. So he's a really good aggressive regular, which you don't see often on a 50 to 200 NL. His aggression frequencies are also quite high, so he has 40% on the flop and on the turn, with the average for the field around 32. So yeah, he's clearly above average in this regard. 40 is actually very high, so this is why we have these numbers in red. And 33, so yeah, he doesn't really fight that much on the river. He is closer to average here. 1% higher is pretty much nothing. Next three tabs are his bets, his folds, and his raises, but we mostly use those against recreational players. But of course, with regulars, we also can draw some information from those stats. For example, we can see that his fold on the river is 59%, which is lower than average, but he's quite inelastic against different sizes. Out of 93 times, he folded 56% against a third pot bet, and out of 91 times, he folded 57% against 3/4. So yeah, the same numbers basically. So yeah, we can use this when we consider bluffing against the guy on the river, for example. Okay, now move to the recreational player, 20k hands, which is a lot for a rec, huge lose rate, colored in purple, which means he's a target player. He doesn't really like folding against steals. We can confirm that also when we will go over his calling stats. We can see that he cold calls 80% on the big blind pretty much against any position, 62% on the small blind, which is a lot of course, and 50% cutoff and button. We can also see which hands exactly he likes to call, and yeah, we can use it when assessing his calling range. Next, VPAP and PFR 60 and 5.6, which usually means that this guy is quite passive, and the following stats pretty much confirm that. He only 3-bets 2%, he folds against a 3-bet only 2%, so he defends pretty much everything, and his 4-bet percentage is 1.4, which is also really, really low. And out of 8 example, he never folded against a 4-bet. So yeah, he's quite passive and stationary as well. Yeah, and the following stats also prove that when to showdown 34, which is quite high even for a recreational player. 41% won soft flop, so he's not fighting for pots that much. And his won money at showdown is also quite low, 44%. And aggression frequencies are crazy low, as you can see, 19, 21, and 20, which means that he is actually really passive. And if he shows some sort of aggression, he bets or he raises, we should definitely overfold. Okay, let's go over pop-ups. What do we have there? How we can use it? I usually click on the number of hands to open the pop-up window. Okay, this first step we have already seen and discussed. Versus open raise, we have 3 bets by positions, squeeze percentages, cold calling, and 4 bets against different positions as well. We also have the total amount here, so we can see which hands exactly he likes to 4-bet. And we can also check his positional awareness. We see 4-bet percentages against late positions and early positions. Here pretty much no difference, as we can see. But for those stats to convert, we need a bigger sample size. Versus steel, yeah, we went over this one as well when we were checking the first line. Single raise pots. These are probably the most important stats. We have c-bet percentage for every street, and then we have stats on how he plays when he misses a c-bet. Passive lines in the blue frame. First line when he checks back on the turn, then gives up on the river, and the second one when he checks back on the flop and gives up on the turn. Or if he doesn't give up on the turn, how often does he give up on the river? And the red frame is for the aggressive lines. Bet, check, bet is the first one, and check behind, bet, flop, bet, turn. For the caller, we have the same thing, fold versus c-bet, and aggression against the c-bet. Red one is for the aggressive actions, so those are float bets, and the blue frame for his give-up percentages. Blind versus blind, pretty much the same thing. We have the float bets here on the right in the red frame. We have missed c-bets on the left in the blue frame. And the passive actions after that, we have delay c-bet as well. We can also see how those delay c-bet ranges look like. Check raise tap, we have already seen as well. 3-bet one. We also have aggressor and caller separated in different tabs here. And in the top part, we have in-position stats, in the bottom part, out-of-position stats. And yeah, all the key numbers are here. Next, miscellaneous. Well, here we basically have the carbon copy of the HUD that we have in play. So if we want to analyze his stats in hand to node and we don't want to open the replayer, well, this one is really handy. It is also useful to create reports, and yeah, if you just for some reason forgot what stats you have in your HUD, you can always check it out right here. Or maybe if you want to adjust it a little bit, maybe change something. Okay, next we have all-in showdowns. Let's use the recreational guy as an example. This one is very useful as well. You can see all of his showdowns when he went all-in with a stack of 40 big blinds and lower. Here we can see he 3-bet shoved pocket queens to 20 big blinds against a raise of 2.5. Here he also shoved queens for 12 big blinds. Ace king he also shoved for 28 blinds. We also have some weird hands like 8-7, but he only had 7 blinds in this one. Probably it's all that he had left after losing some big pot. So yeah, we can see his all-in showdowns for different stack sizes, 40 BB and less, 40 to 90 and 90 plus, but those ones only for the spots when he went all-in pre-flop. Next we have notes, of course, and finally his graph. Also, with the HUD and the pop-ups, you get the bet sizing information. Okay, we can open his bet total stat for the flop, for example, and yeah, we see sizes here from the quarter of the pot to 2x overbets and even more than 2x. Next we have different boards, but with the Malabar HUD plus pop-up you will get less boards because yeah, you need a huge sample size for this number of boards. And those are for the range research actually. In the actual HUD you will get 5 flop boards and 4 turn boards. Ace high boards, Broadway boards, well, you will see for yourself. And if we go to the fold stats, we will learn that we can also see players' folds against different sizes. Quarter pot or less, overbets, well, pretty much the same deal. And one more thing, you can see what hands people use for betting, for example. Like here we have 3 colors, which is really handy. And yeah, this color system is included in the Malabar HUD. So what you see is what you get, basically. So what do we have? Gutshots and worse are the green hands or the weak hands. This is the first group. Then we have low pocket pairs, draws, low pairs and middle pairs. Those are the yellow hands, which are mid-strength hands. And finally, red hands are a draw plus pair and better. Top pair weak kicker, top pair top kicker, and so on. Hand to node itself uses like 12 different colors for those, so yeah, it's not that useful. I recommend you use this 3-color system. It's much easier to realize what is actually going on, which hands players use, if you are not familiar and comfortable with the hand to node system already.